Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. That's right. This episode of Remake This Movie Right is dedicated to one of the greatest comedies of the 80s, the John Hughes classic Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We already think Ferris is a righteous dude, so we had to ponder the important questions. Can the greatest ditch day in academic history be recreated? What would you do in order to have the greatest day off ever? Most importantly, who is as perfect a choice as Matthew Broderick for the title character? Much like Ed Rooney himself, we think we've got Ferris Bueller figured out, and even though this podcast moves pretty fast, it's time to remake this movie right. Hello, my fellow cinematic architects, and welcome to Remake This Movie Right. We are a member of the Hollywood Outsider Network. You can listen to episodes of Remake This Movie Right on iTunes, where reviews are appreciated, your podcast app of choice, or just visit the website at remakethismovieright.com. Remake This Movie Right is a show where we take an original film that has an actual remake in the works, generally, figure out what still clicks and what doesn't, throw a little bit of humor at it, and then we determine exactly how Hollywood should remake it. So by the end of each episode, we will have the remake ready to roll for Hollywood execs and presented to you in movie trailer form. We are here to tell Hollywood how to remake this movie right. I am your host, Aaron Peterson, and this is a little reuniting of our infamous Pet Sematary episode, I think. You can find him on the Hollywood Outsider podcast, as well as our past episodes, including Ghostbusters, The Mummy, and Green Lantern. Mr. Brian Williams.
Hey, Aaron, I just want to throw this out there that I do believe the Pet Sematary one was one of our most popular episodes.
It was.
So,
yep. Still is.
Awesome.
Yep. And so is it. So therefore, there are two Stephen King episodes. Apparently, we're just going to do it entirely.
We're not talking about it yet.
Oh, sorry.
Me and Amanda, we're not here for that. So,
speaking of, she's exclusive to Remake This Movie Right and believes Nathan Fillion should be in literally everything, including Tomb Raider and Mary Poppins.
Why not?
She was also featured in our Clue, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Friday the 13th episodes. Amanda Sink.
Hello, hello. Good evening, boys.
Hello, boys.
Men, gentle lads.
I think it's all debatable. It's all debatable. For this episode of Remake This Movie Right, we are approaching the film's 30th anniversary of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So we decided, since it's much been bandied about, that movie will eventually get a remake. They've talked about it. I think it had a TV show at one point. We decided, yeah, it did. It wasn't good. And we decided we're just going to remake this movie right. I think it's time. For those that haven't seen it, both of you that haven't seen it, the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off was directed by John Hughes, the captain of the 80s teen flick. It starred Matthew Broderick as the titular character who fakes sick to get out of school and have the best skip day ever with his girlfriend Sloane, who I had a massive crush on. Apparently, I had a lot of crushes on.
I was going to say, all of these episodes, you're just picking movies that you had crushes on the girls from.
Yeah, kind of. That's how it works. And also his best friend, Cameron. So I got to ask, Brian, did you see this when it came out? I know Amanda did not because she's in her 20s, so therefore not alive.
Nope.
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. I don't remember if I did or not.
He's that old. His memory's that gone.
Probably all the drugs in the 80s.
Yeah.
Cocaine will get you, man.
It will. All that nose candy.
It catches up with you. It catches up. So honestly, I don't remember. I do remember seeing it, I guess, at least then, if not when it came out on VHS or whatever.
Oh, man. Did you rewind the tape?
I don't remember the actual trip to the theater to see it, so I'm not real sure, to be honest with you.
All right. Amanda, when did you see Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I've seen it a couple times before recently, so I've seen it probably one or two, well, I would say at least twice when I was younger, throughout my younger years, because, I mean, I wasn't alive when it came out, so. But then I saw it again recently for this episode, and I mean, we'll get into that when we get into it, but I've seen it probably about 3 to 4 times at this point.
I saw it 6 times in the theater.
Of course you did.
Yeah, it was like a research paper for me. I was a huge truant. So, I mean, I'm just like, I got to take notes. I got a scrap pad.
So let me ask you, which one did you prefer more, Ferris Bueller or Clue? Because you were a huge fan of Clue as well.
Oh, they're different kinds of movies.
Well, yeah, they're different, but both of them seem to get you back into the theater multiple times.
Yeah, I would probably say Ferris Bueller because seriously, I use some of that as tips. Like I use the thermometer, I use that. The clammy hands.
Clammy hands. I was just going to ask you about that one.
Use that. I tried to rig up a mannequin in my bed once, and that just didn't work out.
It's a good thing your mother doesn't listen to any of these
podcasts.
podcasts.
Yeah, but that wasn't to skip school. That was for completely other reasons.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved it. It's one of those movies where I think anybody you talk to, they know it. If you mention it in passing, people have seen it. It's one of those. It's hard to find someone who hasn't seen it at some point in their life.
Right. And even if they haven't seen it, which I don't know of anybody who hasn't, but I would say that even if someone hasn't seen the movie, they probably at least know the name right off the bat and know who directed it.
It's a cool name, too.
Yeah.
It's a cool name. Absolutely. Well, you guys want to hear some trivia about it before we get into why we love this movie so much?
I would love to hear trivia.
All right. Because
Bring it on.
if you're new to the show, just to clarify, we talk about some trivia on the movie. Then we'll talk about what we loved about the original, and then we'll talk about how we would remake it for a modern generation. That's how this show works. First up, Cindy Pickett and Lyman Ward, who played Ferris's parents. They married in real life after filming this.
Aww.
This is all according to IMDb, so it could be total lies. We don't know. And at the time, stars Matthew Broderick and Jennifer Grey actually became engaged after the movie, so they were dating after the movie.
Aw, so this movie just brought together a whole lot of love. Wait, are these people still together?
Matthew Broderick's not. No, he's with Sarah. He's with Sex and the City. Sarah Jessica Parker now. So.
Well, that sounds like a disappointment.
I don't know. I mean,
and Principal Rooney's in jail. So
things change. Things change.
Oh, what 30 years can do for you.
I have a feeling that Principal Rooney was the luck dragon for the never-ending story. Creepy guy. All right, the shot of Ferris playing the clarinet was done on the spot. Someone spotted the instrument as part on the set, and Matthew Broderick said he could play it, which, of course, he couldn't. Never had one lesson. Here's one that Brian will like. Cameron's father's Ferrari. You're a big fan, right?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a real Ferrari.
I know.
Oh, well. Never mind.
Mr. Know-It-All.
There were 3 replicas made at about $25,000 a piece.
Okay, well then I'm just skip that one because you just killed all my I'm righteous buzz. You're a righteous dude, Brian.
Hey, I like cars because an actual one cost about about $250,000-$300,000.
Wow, how much would that be nowadays? You think? I assume it would keep going up, right? I don't know how cars work.
Yeah, probably. Probably 400,000. Yeah, probably about 400K, maybe $500,000. So.
Did you hear how he says that, Amanda?
No
like
big
he's
deal.
got it, $500,000.
Look, if you had it for the 250 or 300,
he probably Googled this
another
beforehand.
100K ain't gonna hurt you too bad.
Not gonna break you. After working together on Weird Science, John Hughes offered Bill Paxton the role of the garage attendant. However, Paxton turned it down because he felt the role was too small. He admits that he regrets turning it down because Hughes never offered him a role again.
He sounds like a bitter guy. I like it.
That's a burnt bridge right there. Mm-hmm. Yup. Alan Ruck was 29 years old when he played the role of teenager Cameron.
Seriously?
He was 29.
I mean, he looked a little bit older, but he did not look like he was hitting 30.
He was 29.
Wow.
And a good thing he didn't have a girlfriend because that could have went creepy really fast. Okay, here's one of my favorite ones. Most of the license plates are all abbreviations for titles of films by John Hughes. Katie's says VCTN for National Lampoon's Vacation. Jeannie's is TBC for The Breakfast Club.
Oh.
Tom's is MMOM, which is Mr. Mom. Rooney's is 4FBDO for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The exception is Cameron's Ferrari because the license plate says Nervous.
I didn't even notice. I need to be more...
You were too busy twisting and shouting?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I would totally be that person at the parade.
Which
Just
one?
take over.
You think
And
so?
I would
of
be
those
Ferris.
people at
I
the
would totally
parade
do it.
We're not even actors. A lot of those people dancing and stuff, the construction workers and the window washers were all just people having a good time that they actually just put a camera on and shot them.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I mean, it turned out to be a great scene.
It's a great movie. We'll talk about it. All right, the Ferris Bueller character was named after John Hughes' lifelong friend, Burt Bueller, and John Hughes has passed away, just so if anybody didn't know that, he is no longer with us. The parade sequence, the twist and shout scene, was filmed during the Van Steuben Day Parade, an annual event in the Chicagoland area.
Woo!
Yeah. 2 more. The second one is kind of cool. The first one is less cool. The final scene in the garage was shot in early fall, so each of the leaves on all the trees outside had to be hand-painted green.
No.
Every morning before shooting. And the shot looking up from the wreck at the 3 friends, the yellow tree with most of its upper leaves gone can be seen reflected in the window. They painted tree leaves.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just saying I would not be that person who is paid
If you get paid $100,000 a year, you wouldn't paint some leaves?
You know how many leaves they would have to paint?
If you
I'd
were
rather have my
paid-
sanity.
If you were paid,
You know how
100
far
grand.
$100,000 would go?
Yeah,
I'll paint them. I'll paint them with a brush. I don't care.
I'll do it with one of those tiny ones that you get at like the crayon box. The last one, this is kind of funny. There's a theory circulating on the internet that Ferris is just a figment of Cameron's mind. The theory states that although Cameron wants to be more adventurous and rebellious, he's afraid to, so he creates Ferris in his head. Ferris is all the things that Cameron is not. The theory also states that Ferris became a creation Cameron uses to finally assert himself against his father's cruelty and, more importantly, his own hypocritical conscience.
That would actually be a great remake. I think.
If you want to piss off every fan of the original.
I don't care. That would be so cool.
It would.
I mean, it would be completely different. It would be a totally different twist, but it would be really interesting. It'd be like
It is
Sixth
an
Sense all
interesting-
over again.
Yeah, it would be. It is an interesting theory, and somebody even made a Ferris Bueller Fight Club type trailer. So it's pretty cool.
YouTube. Go YouTube, right?
Yep.
Do you agree, Brian? You think that would be a great twist on a remake?
Oh yeah, yeah. Fight Club or Memento type thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Just make it disturbing instead of funny and enjoyable.
Well,
Yeah.
it could still be funny and everything throughout the movie, but like it gives you more of a focus on Cameron and his relationship with his father. And then towards the end, you realize once he finally lets loose and that Ferrari, not Ferrari, just goes away into the water.
Did you say Ferrari, not Ferrari?
Yeah. Goes into the water, then that's kind of when it opens up or something. I think that would be interesting.
Wow. All right. Well, everybody seems to like it, so I guess that's our movie.
Well.
We'll see you guys later.
Oh, that was quick. We got to do this more often.
We could do about 10 of these a week. All right, guys. Well, let's get into what we love about the original. But first, there is a clip. Remember to email your thoughts on this week's show, casting ideas, your short pitch, however, whatever you want to say to us, we can talk about during our teaser episode, which are every other week. They're between these main episodes, and only subscribers will get them. So it won't be on the website or anything else. You got to subscribe via iTunes or your podcast app of choice, and then those teaser episodes will automatically flow to your podcast app of choice. I forgot what I was saying. I sure did. The email address for that is remakethismovieright@gmail.com. Here's a little clip from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
This is my 9th sick day this semester. It's getting pretty tough coming up with new illnesses. If I go for 10, I'm probably gonna have to barf up a lung. So I better make this one count. The key to faking out the parents is the clammy hands. It's a good non-specific symptom. I'm a big believer in it. A lot of people will tell you that a good phony fever is a deadlock, but you get a nervous mother, you could wind up in a doctor's office. That's worse than school. You fake a stomach cramp, and when you're bent over, moaning and wailing, you lick your palms. It's a little childish and stupid, but then so is high school.
Oof, man, who doesn't love that?
I love the music from the 80s.
Because you weren't alive?
I don't care. If I could choose
It's so
if I could
retro.
choose an era that I would be in, it would be the 80s. For the movie, the music, all of it.
The AIDS. Tab.
Cocaine.
Sounds like a
Okay.
great time to me. Let's
Shoulder
party like Charlie
pads.
Sheen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Charlie Sheen before he had the AIDS. All right. So I feel bad because he's in this movie.
I
Gosh,
know.
Darn it.
I know.
Darn it. All right. What makes this movie so memorable, Brian, for you? What sticks out to you as this is why I love this movie? Unless you don't, which would make this awkward.
No. I really do. I love this movie. First of all, I think it's the one of the first movies I can really remember where they break the fourth wall and kind of made that a thing. To have one of the characters talking to the audience is awesome. That works. The pranks, the jokes, the tricks to get out of something still works, man. It's still funny. And I think there's also that kind of that rebellious side out of all of us that wants to skip school or work or whatever the case is, and that kind of this speaks to that side of us.
I completely agree with you. I kind of had almost to a T the exact same things, breaking the fourth wall, the ridiculous antics of him faking being sick and everything, and getting his room together so that way if his mom came home, it looked like there was a body rolling around in his bed. All of the noises, the doorbells, everything.
Most awkward snoring machine ever. It's just so creepy.
All of the cast, I mean, I love the music. I'm sure people think it's outdated, but I would listen to these soundtracks every day from the 80s. But I think everything with this movie still works. And like I said, I just watched it again recently after not seeing it for a lot of years. And there's nothing in this movie that just doesn't work for me.
Jennifer Grey's nose? How about that? 'Cause it's different now. She didn't like
it. Actually worked for me then a lot more than it works for me now.
A lot more than now.
Really? You liked it when it was more like one of the Muppets?
To me, it was like her trademark in a way. I mean,
that's true.
I didn't see it as necessarily a bad thing, but now I can still sit there and look at her and go, that's Jennifer Grey. That's Jennifer Grey, and I just can't see it.
Yeah, now you can't even pick her out of a lineup. She looks like every other actress in Hollywood. I mean, she kind of she had a distinguishable look, even if it was a big schnauzer. Big schnauzer. Why I love it is because who didn't go to high school and like want to skip? Everybody wanted to skip. That was the thing. I mean, how can we get out of this? How can we fake a note? How can we fake? When I went to school, it was a little easier than it is now. There wasn't all this technology.
Mm-hmm.
But you could get a note from your mom, or you could write your own note, which may have happened, and then you can go out and have what you think is the greatest day ever. Except nobody ever really had the greatest day ever. They just had kind of a cool day at the park or something, where you tried to avoid the cops and your parents, and that's what everybody's day out was. Where here we've got a guy who is the coolest kid in town, and he skips school, breaks his girlfriend out, breaks his best friend out, makes him steal an awesome car. They go to downtown Chicago, and they have the best day ever. Who doesn't want that? And
they definitely take it to the extreme. Like, I don't even know how they came up with all of the time to do all of these things and travel and all of that.
Oh, I did the math while I was watching it. It's feasible.
You think it's possible?
It's absolutely feasible.
A parade is ridiculous, though.
Well, they didn't stay for the whole parade.
Right. That was, I mean, you're talking about 2 songs worth. That's probably 8 minutes.
I mean, I guess if you're rushing around a whole lot and you're just boom, boom, boom.
You don't stay for the whole baseball game. You're only staying for a portion of it. You have lunch. You go to the baseball game. You do the other stuff. Yeah, there's time.
I suppose.
I mean, he did get a late start.
Although, in fairness to her point, they did seem to get like a pretty late start to that morning.
They did, and it is Chicago. If you've ever been there, it's kind of hard to move around that fast. Put it this way. You never see people zipping down the highway in downtown Chicago with their hair blown in the wind.
Definitely not.
Because nobody goes more than 15 miles an hour.
Because you can't.
Because you can't. But it was 30 years ago. Maybe it was different. I don't know. I loved it. I didn't care. And the other thing that I loved about it was not only was it absurd, it was absurd, but it had a lot of deep moments. I mean, Cameron's storyline I thought was really tragic to a degree. It really felt like a real teenager. It felt like somebody who was really conflicted and struggling. And you get Ferris because everybody had that cool friend. Everybody had and if you didn't know who the cool friend was, you're probably a cool friend. Everybody had that cool friend that, man, they just got away with everything, and everything they do is awesome, and God, they're going to be all-stars.
Had people collecting money for a kidney transplant?
Absolutely. I knew kids like that were that popular. I mean, they weren't all as well liked, but, they happen. And then also the sister who resents him for being so cool. I mean, I knew plenty of people like that. I mean, everything except for Sloane. She's probably the only thing I don't like about the movie. In terms of, because I don't think her character is really given anything to do except want to marry Ferris. That's really her main goal. In the movie, I want to marry Ferris.
Well, I mean, what do you think about the principal, though? Is that a little bit too ridiculous for you? Or is that what makes it a lot of fun for you?
You want to talk about Rooney?
Yeah.
Was he the dean? What was his title? Was he assistant principal, right?
Yeah, I thought he was just the principal.
Principal?
To me, he's just the principal.
Okay.
Whether he's whatever.
Dean of students is what I thought he was. Whatever his title was, I don't know, don't care. I had a principal that was just like that. Maybe not would break into my house, but was constantly trying to bring me down because I was a truant. I skipped a lot. I think once I missed the month of October, and it's a true story. And I had a principal that just wanted to bring me down for it all the time. So she had a problem with me because I'd come in, at that time, back in the day, which was a Wednesday. Back in the day, you would go and, as long as you passed your final, generally you wouldn't fail your class. So I would always come in, take tests, and I'd be good to go. But I would miss lots of school. And so she was constantly trying to catch me. And back then, basically the only way that they had to catch your parents was to call them, leave a voice and a message in the answering machine, and you could work that system all day. And that's what you ended up doing. And Ferris Bueller inspired me to be better at that. So I would say he inspired me too.
Inspired you to be a rebellious truant.
More like lazy. I just didn't want to go to school. Seemed like a whole lot of talking about nothing.
Did you do as much cool stuff on your days off, or?
Oh, there was a couple of them. Yeah. I think if you skip school, everybody after this movie came out tried to emulate it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, people didn't even like baseball. Like, we should go see a Cubs game. Skip school and go see a Cubs. I'm like, who does that?
Yeah, now you wouldn't be able to do
we're
that.
We're in Alabama. We can't go see a Cubs game, you idiot.
Nowadays, you definitely couldn't do that. Because even with the Cubs, as bad as they've been for the majority of their years, excluding last year, their tickets are still probably like $40 a game. And if you're 16 years old, half of these kids aren't working anyway anymore.
Yeah, well, they have iPhones and they can sell something on eBay quick and get enough money.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Right.
I see kids driving like $40,000-$50,000 trucks all the time. And
where do you live?
I don't know where they get. No, it's funny because
Cocaine
I don't
again.
know where these parents are having these jobs in this small town, but it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. A couple of us were talking just the other day about kid came into the shop and he was like, yeah, I need an estimate on my truck. And you go out there and it's this 2-year-old truck that brand new was probably $45,000. And
Yeah.
you
Wow.
just, and even if he bought it used, it's still probably a $35,000 truck.
Not to mention they're more than likely going to get into an accident with it. So
Rightfully so. They
I
better.
mean,
Yeah.
they better.
They don't
Yeah,
deserve
but
it.
I've seen them with BMWs, Mercedes, stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I don't get it. I don't know where all
Mustangs.
these.
Well, next
Yeah.
time you see them, maybe you should think of them because they might be struggling like Cameron was, Brian. So maybe they just need a little help.
I'm sure that's exactly
Yeah,
it.
which is crazy. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of information about his father, but good Lord, they live in this kind of a cool looking house that's secluded with woods. It's
Beautiful.
this kind of this modern thing. He's got all this. He's obviously spoiled to a certain extent,
He's got
but yet
the
he's got
car
this crappy car. His dad's got a $300,000 car in the garage.
secluded
Yeah.
by glass windows
Right.
or
It's
walls.
got
Not
its
even
own-
windows,
it's got its
walls.
own room.
The car is
It's
the
not a
nicer room.
garage. It's a room.
Cameron probably doesn't even have a room that big. That's why he's pissed.
He doesn't.
And
Oh,
he drives that piece of crap car that's held together with duct tape and chicken wire.
Well, now you know why he's sad all the time. Poor kid.
Now I'm starting to just really be on his side.
This movie isn't funny anymore. Now it's just a sad character piece about some poor suicidal kid that just needed to drown himself in his sorrows, literally.
Speaking about the movie, though, with Cameron's
Oh, there was a
perspective,
movie? I almost forgot we were talking about a movie for a minute.
with Cameron's perspective, I like that they didn't make it all some sad sob story and really kind of drain you in the emotional part of it. They added it in so that way you had the emotional tie to the movie rather than just laughing throughout the whole thing, and just really gave you that character arc. But they didn't make it all about his sad sob story. They added it in here and there and ended with it. But that's about it.
And it made sense. Like, he progressed rationally. It wasn't
Right.
like just some snap moment where he's like, oh, it all came together now. I got to be a hero.
Right.
It made sense.
Kind of to your point, they really needed him to be that balance to, I don't want to say flighty, but the
Stability to
almost
balance it out.
the super fun, get away with anything guy. Then you kind of got the guy that's unfortunately probably a little bit too grounded.
I think that helped
So-
make it feel more realistic to the audience.
Yeah.
And also, Ferris as a character always felt real. I think they could have probably put like a Judd Nelson in there or Robert Downey Jr. or somebody of that time, and it probably would have worked fine. But I think Matthew Broderick has that way of, he was the cool kid without being pompous and without being arrogant. Like, I never felt like he acted like he was better than anyone, even though he constantly would really come close to mocking people. But he was always like a guy where, all right, I can follow him. He's not ever being a douche. He's just a good guy, sick of the rules. That's all.
He's just a teenager.
Well, he's a fun teenager.
There's
There's a lot of teenagers that are just like
teenager.
Cameron.
Yeah, there's a lot of teenagers that I just want to run over. But
Exactly.
Get in their $50,000 truck and run them over.
Back over them while they're fueling. Yeah. That's what I got from Brian. Is there anything that actually doesn't work other than all I said was a Sloan character? Amanda said there was nothing. Brian, did you have anything?
not really, man. This is one of those that I was because it's been a good while since I've watched this movie. I've seen it a lot, but it's been a while since I've actually rewatched it. You and I were talking the other day about how much this movie works, and it just works. It's one of those things to where, the jokes and the shenanigans aren't completely set in that time era. It's some of it, yeah, it is, but you could just about take those same things and put them now or put them 10 years before that.
So
Right.
It's kind of timeless.
do you think it should be remade, or should this be in don't touch status? Even though we're going to remake it because screw the rules.
We do what we want.
That's right, we're rebels. Do you guys think it should be in don't touch status, or what, Amanda?
Not really. I think it could be remade if it's done right and it's done well. There's so many different things that you could do with this one to make it fun, or to even take that one perspective, that weird theory where it's just kind of all in Cameron's head. You could do so many different
You're
things
stuck
with the
on that
movie.
now, aren't you?
I really like it. I'm not going to roll with it because that's
So
somebody else's
my
idea.
whole
but
concept of the movie I wanted was like Ferris and a Shark Tank. That's probably not gonna happen then.
I think it can totally be remade, though. As long as it's done well and it's done right with the right people, then I don't see why not.
All right, Brian?
I don't think it's untouchable. The window is really small to pull it off, though, because you have to kind of balance it between, well, are you just doing the same thing, or is this another excuse? Because there's a lot of movies that are being remade
Just because.
they are, yeah, just because. And if the care and the love is not given to this property, then it'll be just another Red Dawn or
Oh God, easy killer.
whatever else has come out. I know there's been a couple lately that's just been kind of like, what was that?
I think it really comes down to the casting. I think it's less the story, because you can do pretty much anything with the story, because it's just whatever you want to do on your day off and roll with it. But I think the casting is going to have a huge part of it. So if you have a bad lead for Ferris Bueller, or even for Cameron or Sloan, especially the writers and directors, if any one of those people are off, which is totally true to Brian's point with that small window, if any of those things are off, then you're pretty much screwed on your remake, and it's just another movie trying to tie to an old name to draw in the income. All about money.
I'm going to say don't touch.
Really?
This is one of the few movies I don't think could be improved upon. I really think everything that works is a factor of all the elements that just magically combined. It's one of those movies where we're going to remake it. We are going to remake it, and we're going to come up with a movie that's pretty damn awesome. But better than Ferris Bueller's Day Off? No. I don't think you'll be able to top it. It's a rare 10 for me. It's one of those movies where I don't see a way that it gets any better.
I'm not saying that a remake would make it better, because I don't think any remakes should be better than the original.
Well, I disagree with that. There's a lot of them that should be better. Red Dawn's
No, they shouldn't be better than the original. The original should be like the masterpiece, and you should be getting as close to it as possible. But if you basically defeat your masterpiece, then it's obviously not that good of a movie to begin with.
You've just made a masterpiece.
Masterpiece. Yeah. Well, that's just, hey, it's my take. I
understand. I understand.
Put Ferris Bueller on a shelf and just let him glow. That's what I say. But because things like this happen, we're going to remake it. Before we do that, we got one more clip to remind you of Mr. Ferris Bueller.
Well, it's been a tough morning, and we've got a lot of family business to take care of, so if you wouldn't mind excusing Sloan, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. I'd be happy to. Yeah, you just produce a corpse, and I'll release Sloan. I want to see this dead grandmother firsthand.
It's all right, Grace. It's Ferris Bueller, little twerp. I'm going to set a trap and let him fall right into it.
Ed, I'm sorry. Did you say you wanted to see a body?
Yeah, that's right. Just roll her old bones on over here, and I'll dig up your daughter. You know that school policy.
Oh?
Was this your mother?
No, my wife's mother.
Ed Rooney's office.
Hi, this is Ferris Bueller. Can I speak to Mr. Rooney, please? Thank you.
Hold.
Tell you what, dipshit. You don't like my policies, you can just come on down here and smooch my big old white butt.
Ed.
Pucker up, Buttercup.
What?
Ferris Bueller's online too.
I love how cheesy the 80s were. God, it's great.
What do you mean? I thought they were...
That music, not the scene, the music.
You better watch it. You better watch it,
I
kid.
said I liked it.
These young people. Get off my lawn. All right. Well, a remake has been talked about for a long time, but so far it's still lying dormant, so it's safe for now. The reason we're remaking this one is because in honor of the 30th anniversary and because it will eventually happen. So we are going to remake it. For those that have never listened before, all remake sections are debated and settled by a best of 3 vote. The only exception to that is if one of us yells cut. If 2 people love an idea and they want to move forward, but the third one just if you feel very passionate about whatever their idea is, I want to say passionate. Stubborn makes it sound negative. They're passionate about their idea. They yell cut, and they can change it to whatever they want. Let's keep it within reason. We don't want to have like popsicles flying around on this thing or anything, but the cut can be used at any time, and you only get 1 per episode. So them's the rules. So the story, how do we modernize it? Who's got the best take? Amanda, let's start with you. What do you think? How would you bring Ferris Bueller into the modern age?
Well, I think the main plot of it, you can't really change it too much. You can change what he does on his day off, and you can change who he is or the area and stuff. But basically, the premise of it is somebody's going to have a day off and do something ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So my idea is kind of to have it maybe go more adult. So take it out of high school and maybe like a work situation. So somebody decides to skip work and maybe they end up running into their kids rather than their parents while they're out and about skipping or something. And that can create a dilemma because then their kids are skipping too. So something like that. That's kind of where I was thinking was to reach adult and younger audiences, but to make it more fun for the adults that they can maybe now that those people who were teenagers or younger when they first saw it, they're adults now, they can relate to it in their lives again.
Oh, Brian, what's your idea? I'm going to use hers and put it into mine while you're talking about yours. So because I think that might work for something I had an idea with.
Yeah, it's kind of got me second guessing mine myself. No, mine was pretty much just a continuation of this universe. Ferris Bueller is some sort of authoritarian figure, maybe a principal himself, maybe just you've kind of got the work boss thing stuck in my head now. But he's liked. He's not the hard ruling with an iron fist type that Rooney was. He's liked by all the kids. But yet there's one kid that is a little bit bolder than the rest. And he basically it kind of triggers a little competition thing with him to where he says, you know what, I'm going to, show him who's boss. I wrote the book on how to skip school.
So basically swapping them or still having the teenager in school as the one who's playing hooky?
Have the teenager in school playing hooky, but Ferris Bueller is pretty much taking over the role of Rooney, I guess, in a more fun way. Not so much
more
of
competitive, like I did this before, I can get you,
right.
But just more light.
I did this 30 years ago, son. This ain't going to work now. And yet this becomes this chess match of one trying to kind of outthink the other one.
I kind of like the idea.
I can actually kind of work it in with yours.
I got a branchy method. What if Matthew Broderick is now the dad? He married Sloane, right? So they're married now. I think it would be funny to see like a modern day Ferris, just as clueless as his mother and father was. And it would be him trying to catch his son, Ferris Jr., as he skips school. Like he comes to think that Ferris is skipping school, that he was faking sick after he gets to work and da-da-da-da. So he's got to try and figure out a way to get out of his job as well to catch his son, who's off having the most fantastic day ever.
So they're both essentially playing hooky, but he's trying to catch his son. To
a degree, I think my theory, and I'm trying to combine some of what you guys have all said. So basically, Ferris Jr. is Matthew Broderick's son in this one.
Right.
And Matthew Broderick is his dad, kisses him goodbye. Sloane is just like Ferris's mother was in the original, very loving and sweet. And they both go to work because they think Ferris is sick. It dawns on him, like, when he gets to work, you know what? I think he might be faking it. But then, so you've kind of got like a dual situation where you've got his son's out having a great time while Ferris himself is trying to get out of work just to prove that he's faking it. And I think how you make that work is maybe Jenny is now working at the local school and tips him off that she thinks he might be skipping, just like he did back in the day or something like that. And so Dad tries to find out where he is so he can bust him, catch him actually skipping.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the movie, they end up skipping together, so to speak.
So essentially, basically,
and basically, yep.
Ferris Bueller is now a father, and he's got his kid, and he's trying to get out of work just to prove that his kid is in the wrong, but then they end up kind of coming together and having a fun day.
Him and his wife think he's homesick because he's faking sick,
and then it dawns on him later.
He's better than his dad was. Like, he's got this down to a better science than even his dad
better
did.
Antics.
Fooled him, and he shouldn't have. Because Ferris Sr. has done like everybody else who's gotten older. They've gotten older. They've gotten into the normal ways of life and work and everything else. And they're
traditional, boring mindset.
Yeah, and basically everything's about the rules and following the rules. And now he's become his own parents. So then he's at work when it finally dawns on him because Jenny tips him off. She thinks baby Ferris is skipping. That way it also, it stays in the same world. Mm-hmm. While he's off having a great time with whoever, his girlfriend, and maybe not the same guy. Maybe he's out with his girlfriend or something, or a friend, whatever the situation is. Mm-hmm. And then you get Ferris Sr. trying to find his way out of work so he can catch him. And then by the end of the movie, maybe his son does the similar chase, because I think we all agree there's got to be a similar chase. Mm-hmm. But his dad actually catches him this time, and then they end up like going off to skip the rest of the day together, kind of thing. Okay,
so I really like that idea. What I would say with it is maybe when they meet, there's still a big parade that they meet at, because I love the parade scene. I love how fun it gets. They meet at the parade, and that's where he catches them, and then they get kind of caught up, and then they just kind of let it go.
Sing?
Yeah, they both sing and dance and do their thing. I know that sounds really cheesy, but
I like it.
That's the 80s.
Kind of like maybe they're trying to get away from their own chasers, so to speak, and then they basically their way of hiding is to jump on that float and kind of hide in public view.
Yeah.
I like it.
This sounds fun.
Oh, I like it. This sounds like the right way to go. Brian, you got any thoughts? I think we like that simple approach kind of covers everybody.
Yeah, I'm on board, man.
So basically, we've got Ferris Sr. He goes off to work. His son is faking sick, and he's got more, because it's technology, so he's got everything he needs, and he's a lot smarter than even his dad was. Who's the one that breaks the fourth? I think you have Ferris Jr. is the only one that breaks the fourth wall until the very, very end, when Dad would break the fourth wall.
And then Dad breaks the fourth wall?
Yeah.
And like makes some sort of funny comment, sarcastic funny comment or something?
Well, he's got to. Or they both can, or something like that. Would that be too cheesy?
Are there any particular lines that really stuck out with you from Ferris?
Dweebies, dickheads, he's a righteous dude. That's one of my favorites.
That he would break the fourth wall with? As his ending line? Because I think that would be like a really cool end out, is like after they meet up and they make everything okay, then he closes out by breaking the fourth wall and making some sort of comment that
life moves pretty fast.
Okay,
that's his line.
And then references the original.
Yeah, I was just going to kind of say maybe just something to where he does one more little thing that kind of one ups the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, how would he one up his own kid? Well, we'll get there, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's whatever it is. The smoke is settled. They get away with everything, whatever the case is. There's just like one little thing that he just to prove that the old man has still got it.
Oh, and then by the end, and by the end, they he sees both that his dad's not so bad. He's actually kind of a cool guy, and Ferris Sr. remembers, you know what? I don't have to follow all the rules. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
And then makes his ending line. I really like closing out the movie with him breaking the fourth wall and making some sort of...
Like the whole movie, like he doesn't do it because everybody's going to want that the whole movie.
Right, he doesn't do it at all. They'll have the kid do it throughout the whole movie, just like Ferris Bueller did in the original. And then literally the closing scene would be Ferris Bueller, if it's going to be Matthew Broderick, whatever, and have him make that closing line and break the fourth wall.
I like it. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. That line.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Sweet. All right. Well, I think we got a movie. That wasn't hard.
Yeah, this is going to be the shortest remake.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably the easiest one yet.
Well, but there's more to it. See, it's not just that. We've got Sloan. Mia Sarah's busy. She's not busy, so I'm sure she can do it. Now, my question would be, how do we want Ferris Jr.'s story to go in terms of, we've got that he's going to be skipping and having fun and everything else, but is he, how many friends is he going to have? Like just another girlfriend, or are we going to have just a girlfriend?
I was going to say, I would like for it to
not be romantic?
To not be like a huge, everything has romance in it anymore. Every movie has some huge love story. So if there is something here, then maybe just like some casual flirting or something between really good friends. But I don't want it to be like a relationship thing. Like I just want him to be a single fun guy hanging out with his single fun friends. If he flirts with the cute girl who I have in mind, then that's cool.
Who I have in mind. Nice.
No, I know who I want. Well, there's one particular girl.
Hold on. We're not there yet. We're still on stories and stuff.
Sorry.
God. One girlfriend, but they flirt, but they're not dating.
Right.
So maybe they can allude to it at the end. Maybe he can ask her out at the end or something.
Yeah, just to kind of like be cute and throw back to 80s a little bit.
And then do you still have another friend? I feel like you gotta have
you can't just
people.
have two. That's no.
All right.
Well, you can't have. I mean, you got to be careful because we already have two big characters that we have to share shenanigans and situations with.
Well, no, I think you have Ferris Senior is really more like the Rooney character. So,
right.
So he's taking Rooney's place. So he gets about as much time as Rooney would. That's how I think we'd do it. And so they don't come together until the end. So really, I mean, Ferris Senior isn't the focus. He's just an important supporting character like Rooney was.
Because you still saw a lot of Rooney.
Yeah, you still get a lot of Rooney in there.
But it focuses, the actual story focuses on Ferris and what he's doing on his day off.
Right.
And there's just basically this little side story of Rooney chasing him. And that's basically
and that would be Ferris Senior chasing him.
Right.
Only he's not chasing him at the house because he knows he's skipping, but he wants to bust him skipping.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to find him. Yeah.
I was just kind of thinking more if this is going to basically kind of end up as this kind of dual realization moment for both parties at the end of it. You kind of have to have probably a little bit more of the chaser with the chasee.
Not necessarily, because I think you can paint that picture pretty quick. I mean, with the same screen time Rooney had, I think Ferris Jr. is still the focus here.
Right.
Okay.
And just
they like maybe they have a lot of close encounters. Like Ferris Sr. is so close to getting him here, and then he doesn't catch up to him in time or something. Because if we're having it in a big city now, it's going to be much more crowded than it was then. So he can escape his father a lot faster, or he just doesn't even realize his dad is chasing him, so he doesn't even know what's going on, and he just happens to elude his father until the very end.
All right. So we've got the female friend that's not quite the girlfriend, and one other friend, like a dude.
Still like a Cameron, but
not so moody. But you still got to have the Ferrari.
Yeah.
So would it be like Cameron's son? That they're
no,
still friends?
what if it's Ferris Senior's?
Oh, borrowed Dad's car? Like Dad finally got enough money to where he went and bought that Ferrari? Or he paid Cameron's dad off and then had it restored or something?
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would, as far as the Ferrari goes, I would, if it's in there, I would probably do something a little more subtle. Maybe, there's the scene of the two garage attendants that are joyriding with it. Mm-hmm. Maybe as they're approaching a hill, you see that Ferrari coming as they're coming up to the top of the hill. It's doing that jump that in this movie.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
You see the bottom of the car flying over the camera and landing. Indicating that it's taking this huge, Dukes of Hazzard style jump. But basically, it's the other end of that. It's the front end. So where this car is jumping, and and they just kind of look at that, going, what the hell are those guys doing? Maniacs or something like that. But anyway, the car just kind of keeps on going. I don't think you necessarily have to have him. Yeah, I mean, why would Ferris Bueller buy his friend's dad's, prized possession?
Why do you got to make it all logical and stuff? That doesn't make any sense.
I like that idea, though.
Says the guy that this doesn't make sense, and this is the holes that I found in this movie and that show and blah, blah, blah.
Well, there's so many stupid holes, but that car belongs everywhere. Why wouldn't you want to buy it? Because it's a beautiful car. That's why. I don't care if it's fiberglass. So you're saying so would he steal like his dad's precious car? Like prized possession or something?
Well, no, I feel like then we're just kind of pulling too much from the movie. If we're not pulling the original Ferrari that Ferris Sr. had stolen when he was younger, then you don't want to do the same premise of that. Do something else.
Like what? He steals his helicopter?
Steals his boat?
Oh, a boat would be a cool idea.
Oh, yeah, you could have a boat.
Like he takes the boat out with the cute girl and his friend.
And goes
There you
where?
go.
They spend the day on the ocean? That doesn't sound
Well,
like
see, as far as location, I kind of thought of a different city for a location. I was thinking San Francisco.
Go ahead.
It's got a lot of fun stuff in a relatively compact area that is, semi-plausible to hit in one day. And if we do the boat thing, they could go out to like Alcatraz or something.
Ooh. Alcatraz could be one place because they did stop at the museum, so they are stopping at places of interest too.
Right.
Mhm.
All right. What else could they do? I like that. So it's Dad's boat instead of a Ferrari. So it's instead of a car, fancy car, it's a bitchin' boat.
And
nice
it
yacht.
also works because if you want to do the baseball thing, the ballpark where the San Francisco Giants play is right there on the coast, and a lot of people sit outside waiting for home run balls to be hit out there in the water.
Yeah, that's my question. When we should probably, because you could also do that, on Lake Michigan. You could do a boat thing in Lake Michigan too. So should we move it from Chicago? Should it stay in Chicago? We got to decide that.
I like Brian's idea. I don't think it
Changing the
necessarily
cities?
needs to stay in Chicago because then we're just basically remaking it almost to a T and just kind of changing the characters a little. We don't want to do it that specific to
And
the
my thing,
original.
and my thing is that they hit a lot of landmark places for that Chicago is known for. There's there are some more, but
Not many.
for the most part, right? There's not a whole lot more. So
They can have that giant reflective bean that's in the middle of downtown. That'd be real sexy.
They go hang out underneath Madonna.
Yeah, pretty
Or
much.
not Madonna. I'd say Marilyn Monroe.
Old Cameron is they just walk by an old Cameron is just standing there staring at that reflective beam. Just
Yep.
it doesn't move. Like they pass him like 6 times throughout the whole movie, and he's still standing there the whole time.
Oh, there's your cameo.
Right. Kind of like the fat guy in Mallrats who kept staring at the Magic Eye poster.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like that.
San Francisco's a good spot because that's a good play because you can use the boat. They can also rent a car or something or grab a car quick.
Trolley cars.
They can do rental car. I mean, if you get a car, jumping there makes sense. That giant, that dive that car does in the original movie, that makes a lot more sense in San Francisco because you do it at every corner.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you don't want to know. Trust me, you don't want to know. You could also do like a helicopter tour at some point or skydiving. That was one of mine.
Yeah, I like skydiving.
yeah.
That would be cool.
Because if you're going to have a day off, man, live. Live. This is your day away from the nightmare of school. The last one you're going to do. Live. I like it. San Francisco's a good place.
I think that's a really great idea.
And you could also have a parade. It'd be a different kind of parade, probably. Like a pride parade.
A little pride parade. So we're holding this in like June or something then?
I don't know. It's whenever we hold it. But yeah, so you can incorporate all that stuff, I think. And what would you, let's say, okay, I think we've got pretty much the basic movie, right? We have the structure, we have the city, we have the locale. So I guess my most important question to all three of you is what would you want to spend your day off doing? Like, any of you have like an awesome skip day?
I skipped school one day and got drunk with my friend and played Monopoly, but I think that was about it.
Wow, you lived on the edge. Brian, did you have any cool skip days? Because hers suck.
Took care of a baby sometimes, my nephew, but that's about
wow,
it.
that sucked too. You don't get to tell skip stories, man. You need a Ferris Bueller day.
That's right. I went down to 3 hours, I guess it was, down to Florida, played in a volleyball tournament, came back same afternoon, same evening. We ended up forfeiting one game because basically we knew we had to get back. So it was just basically that was it. We lost one game earlier. We ended up forfeiting another one. Which would have, that was just pretty much it at that point because we had to leave. That was pretty fun. Most of my skip days involved kind of hanging out at the river and drinking.
Yep, that was most of them. Yeah, we did do Chicago once. Went to a Cubs game actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep, that was a long time ago. Obviously, when I went to school. so I think everybody had them. But what would you do if you could live the dream? Amanda, you're younger than us, so what would be cool now?
I am a young person
You're
who has
younger
a
than us.
90-year-old stuck in her body.
Yeah,
like-
obviously. I mean, what would you want to do? Well, I'm going to skip school and play Monopoly. I'm a freaking animal. So what would you do if you had fun? If you allowed yourself to ever have fun?
I do have fun. I have fun a lot.
I know, Monopoly. Did you win? I
Yeah,
hope?
knitting is lots of fun. with girls.
That was crocheting. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a crochet
Me and
master.
Estelle Getty we're getting it together. I would probably definitely do a concert. I mean, concerts take up so much time, though. So that's my thing, is a lot of the things I would want to do, it would take up a lot of time. So maybe it would just be like
Is
a lot
Burning Man in San Francisco?
No, I
No,
think
it's
that's
in-
Colorado.
No, that's like in the desert.
Okay,
On the
never
way to
mind.
San Francisco, but
Yeah, never mind.
So maybe just for me, then I would definitely go someplace. I would do a lot of like, not touristy things, but kind of. So I would go to a lot of local places, and maybe like if they're in high school, you get in, you get some free drinks or something, and you have some live music, watch a live band play or something. Maybe they do something ridiculous where they get to play with the band, something like that.
Okay.
Because they actually snuck in and the band members notice it and they're like, holy crap, how'd these kids get in here? When it's supposed to be like a 21 and older event. And they get to play with the band or something and sing the songs or something. I don't know.
I like that.
I love live music, so that would be my first thing.
So you throw a little bit of a concert in there somewhere, like an
Yeah.
impromptu San Francisco, man, you can do anything.
I was
there.
going to
Yeah,
say, if you're in like San Francisco or Texas or something
they've
like
got
that,
right. They've probably got a fest going on every
Right.
week or something.
live
There's
music
somebody-
everywhere.
Exactly.
Okay. So you want live music, you want a concert of some sort. Brian, what is your dream? If you could do anything, what would it be? Your day off, your magical day off in San Francisco.
Wow, it's one of those things. There's so much to do. I mean, the touristy stuff is fun. Gosh, skydiving over that locale would be awesome.
Yep, I think you
That's a
definitely got to
really
have
cool
that.
idea.
Yep.
I wouldn't do it because I'm scared of everything. But
Obviously.
even though I
fun.
can't do it, since I'm dreaming anyway, I'm just going under the assumption that I know how to do it. But I would probably go surfing.
Ooh, or water skiing.
Yeah.
If there's no surf, you could do either one.
yeah, I would definitely
Got a
do
boat.
surfing.
Got a boat.
True, we've got a boat. Maybe it's a sailboat or something. Maybe go sailing. It's a good. The San Francisco Bay is a great area for that. It'd probably be something to do with the water, surfing, boating, something like that.
Okay, so we do an impromptu concert. Would you still do a baseball game just as a nod to the original? Because obviously, if it's Ferris Bueller's son, he might like baseball because his dad did.
I'm for it.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
neutral with it, so I don't care.
I'll just stay for an inning or two just to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
They did skydiving. Man, this is like the best day off ever. And they're going to do a little surfing / water skiing, whichever one they
Golden
surf.
Gate Bridge.
Well, yeah, you got to have the Golden Gate Bridge in there
Right.
at some point. That'd be a great area. Kind of like the Sears Tower. Instead of the Sears Tower, they go to the Golden Gate Bridge.
Something just hit me. So we've got boats.
Was it a
We
person?
have surfing and skydiving. Are we remaking Ferris Bueller or Point Break?
Well, you're trying to have the most awesome day off ever.
Well, what are
Hey,
they doing at Alcatraz? Are they doing a tour, or what are they doing there?
Yeah, there's only one thing to do at Alcatraz. That's a tour.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was other things to do there. If you can
don't want to
just
stay there
tour.
very long.
Well,
either.
no, obviously, but I didn't know if they had something like some sort of monuments or something there too. Like here are all the shitty people.
Dead prisoners. Is that monument?
The Sean Connery,
graveyard.
Nicolas Cage statues from the Rock.
They're right there when you walk in. Welcome to Alcatraz.
Oh man,
I think we got an awesome day off. Now, my biggest question to you is, at which one of those? Well, no, the concert would be the impromptu parade. The parade would be leading to the concert, because that's where you would have Dad out showing Junior that he still got it, where he jumps on stage at the concert.
I like that a lot. And they end up singing together or something or whatever.
Dad is crowd surfed.
Oh yeah,
Stage.
right on stage.
Yep, he's just carried up on stage.
Oh, I like it. His son's up there already singing, maybe even doing Donkashay. You never know. You got to have a little nod to that. And his dad gets crowd surfed onto the stage and his son's all embarrassed because, oh crap, I'm both busted and humiliated.
yeah.
And then his
And
dad
my
shows him how it's
in
done.
his
Maybe
LL
that's
Bean shirt and khakis is all of a sudden way cooler than I am in my hipster gear.
Yeah.
maybe that's kind of where he like shows his son how it's done. Is he like
Yeah.
grabs a guitar or something and he just or
Well,
the drums?
let's
and,
not
like,
make him an instant musician now. He couldn't even play a clarinet.
That's true. Maybe that inspired him to learn another instrument. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think we got a movie, guys. What about you?
I like it.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
I kind of want to call into work tomorrow. In fact, I just might.
I've got too much to do tomorrow at work.
I know, that's the sad part. You get old and you can't take days. You can't do this anymore because there's too much stuff to do.
I took vacation days recently and I felt so guilty. I started it with, I feel really bad that I'm going to ask for a couple days off. And she was like, I gave you an extra day this year. Like, you're supposed to use vacation days. And I'm like, I know, but I'm going to be gone from work for a whole week. This is adulthood.
Doesn't it suck getting old?
It does.
I remember, and I'm not making this up, I'm not exaggerating. I skipped the entire month of October, my freshman year, and still passed. Don't ask me how the math worked out, but back then it was doable. And
Well, it wasn't that
Yeah, it
core
wasn't.
crap.
it wasn't how it is now. You just take the final, you're good. But now I don't even want to take a single day off. So adulthood sucks, and that's why I think this movie could really be cool, because it would also speak to both generations.
Right.
You've got current modern day, just wants to get away and have a great day and da-da-da-da. And then dad trying to bust him, because as a dad, I know what it's like to be a stickler for the rules. So you want to catch your kid and you're like, I'm going to freaking show you. I'm going to bust your ass. And you get there and you realize, you know what? I want to be fun too. I'm tired of being there.
Yeah, he's gotten to be this very traditional, traditional father. And then once he gets out, he's forced to leave work because he wants to catch his kids so bad. He ends up having so much fun. And maybe his glimpses are him having fun, too, while he's tracking down his kid. So he has his own little bit of fun while he's on his way. And he's like, man, I miss this. And then finally by the end, when they get together and he catches him, he's like, there's no point in even dealing with this at this point. We're having a great time. I'm like, I'm going to enjoy myself.
You got to have those hints where he fights back, where he's like, he has a little inch of fun, and he's like, whoa, I got to find my son.
Well, yeah, so he does it slowly, though, throughout the movie.
Gradually.
Really, he's kind of a mix of Rooney and the sister.
Yeah,
because she kind of has that same realization with making out with Charlie Sheen in the jail or in the police station.
Yeah, essentially,
like, I could be in school, but I'm getting herpes here from Charlie Sheen.
It's AIDS, okay?
My bad.
Wow.
Hepatitis Q or something. I don't know.
Pick the right disease.
Wow. I don't think you can say AIDS that much in one podcast. I really don't. Okay, I think we got a movie, and I think it would be a great one, and I think it's actually one Matthew Broderick might consider doing, because he turned down the idea of sequels before. Or long time ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a long time ago. They wanted to do like Ferris Bueller's Day Off His Job kind of movie, and
so like kind of what
he just thought that was no, but I think your original idea. Yeah. But
was that before or after Godzilla?
It's got to be before it, Brian. Because after it, I think he would have done whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm free. Anything to make those baby dinosaurs go away.
I had to make the joke, but I actually kind of like that movie. So
I know it's great when they lose the dinosaur in downtown. I think that's fantastic.
I'm sensing my sarcasm meter just pinged.
Mr. Broderick, if you're listening, how did the helicopter not see Godzilla in downtown? How did he duck and weave between the buildings? I've always wanted to know. All right.
If I just stand here, they won't see me.
All right. Well, we got our movie, and I think it sounds great. I would love to see it. Who would direct it?
I like Paul Feig. I think would be fun.
I totally agree, and that's actually who I have. You want to come look? I actually have Paul Feig right here.
That's okay. You can look at mine.
All
I
right.
have him typed 2.
Unless you got somebody better, Brian, you better woo us.
Or cut us.
But we're kind of on Paul Feig's
All right.
side.
Well, I'm going a little bit different.
Oh, boy.
I love that choice.
Roland Emmerich.
I really do. But I'm stepping outside the box with Mike Judge.
No. Cut.
Why?
I don't want Office Space. I'm going to go with Feig. I'm using my cut on Feig because I don't want to make you feel bad, so I'm just going to use cut. My reasoning would be Mike Judge has done Office Space, and he did one other movie that was interesting, but I just don't...
Idiocracy.
Yeah, Idiocracy. I just don't find him to be the right guy for a Ferris Bueller movie. I don't think he's good with smart funny. He's not good with heart. And I think this movie has to have heart.
Especially with the father and son part.
Yeah, I think it's very important to me.
So is this Ferris Bueller loaded with F-bombs?
No, he can do PG-13.
And steamy crotch jokes? Or...
I take it you're not going to be out to see Ghostbusters anytime as soon as it launches.
Hey, I love
launches,
the
releases.
I love
I'm a huge fan of Feig's movies, but they are consistently
raunchy.
Sure.
But Ghostbusters is not going to be like that, and I have faith he can bring the heart. That's what I have faith in.
Okay.
I mean, I picked him for a reason, so.
There you go. Characters.
Well, yeah, but you also picked Nathan Fillion for everything, so.
Oh, really? Go watch Firefly.
Hey, he's got a point.
I don't care. Go watch Firefly.
But you can't put him in everything.
And it was one of the best naps I've had since watching NASCAR.
You're done here. I'm cutting you.
I'm cutting you.
I know where you live, sir.
All right, characters. Based on a remake, we can recast the two leads, and I think Ferris Bueller is already established. So, senior. So who would be our new Ferris Bueller?
I got stuck on a guy and I couldn't get anybody else. And then I looked at his age and he's actually like 30 years old.
Who's that?
Andrew Garfield.
I looked at him.
I think a few years ago, I guess, knowing that he's like 31 years old or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think a few years ago when he was first hired for Spider-Man, that was probably his window. But
I don't think he looks 30,
I didn't realize. I still think he can pull off being a young guy. I just don't know if high school is too much to ask.
Did you have anybody?
I only had somebody for like the Sloane Cameron roles.
Okay, well, my pick for Ferris Bueller was Taron Egerton for Kingsman.
Oh yeah, I love him.
Yeah, he had for me he had the right mix of kind of a pompous douchery guy, but also really cool. And by the end, I thought he was a cool douche.
Have either of you seen Eddie the Eagle?
I have not. He's really good in that?
Brian, have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Okay. I went into this movie thinking I was going to hate it, and I only saw it because of Hugh Jackman and because of Taron from Kingsman. And he seems like he can play so many different roles. Like, he pulled this role together, and I didn't even think about Kingsman. It was like, okay, he's Eddie the Eagle, but when I watched Kingsman, he pulls his character so well.
So he's a good pick?
Oh, yeah. I love him. I think he's a great pick.
Oh, that was easy. Man, we're just rolling on this thing.
Yep, I'm down with that.
Why isn't that movie made yet? I also had, who did you have, Amanda? You had two for your side characters. Who did you have?
So, and I don't even know if this is really going to work for being in high school, but Alexandra Daddario is that
Daddario?
Daddario. Oh my God.
Double Dario? Sorry.
I don't remember what her name. That girl.
That was a very tasteless joke, but you got it.
I got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
I think she barely came across as a college student in San Andreas.
I think she still can pull it off, man.
I think she could.
Pretty young. I mean, nowadays they've got like 25
she's
and 30.
30 years old.
I mean, so was Cameron. Cameron was
29
years old.
I know, and I mean,
you got a better pick from the CW or something? Because they're all from the CW.
Nina Dobrev or whatever.
No, the Princess Diaries girl.
Princess Diaries. You're mixing movies. Vampire Diaries. Actually, Phoebe Tompkin could be a fun one.
I don't know who that is.
She's in the originals.
Just make me wish you were dead. I guess.
No. My other one was for Cameron's character, whoever we would consider that person as, Paul Dano. He was
Dano, the creepy guy?
I don't care. He was. So was this guy. Cameron was kind of weird too.
Not like a creepy gonna steal my child way.
I mean, I thought he was good in Looper and Little Miss Sunshine. So
he's like 35.
I don't care about age. Age is just a number.
No, it's not. No, you can actually do jail time.
There's no sex scenes in here.
I had Nicholas Hoult for like the side character. You don't even know who that is, do you? Warm Bodies, who's the lead in Warm Bodies.
Yeah.
He's the Beast in the X-Men movies.
Beast in the X-Men movies. He was in Mad Max. Lovely Day. That guy.
I mean, he works.
He plays a lot of different stuff.
I really just want Alexandra to be the Sloane character.
Brian, are you okay with Double D Dario? There's only one right answer here.
I mean, yes. Trust me, I'm okay with the Dario. Trust me. I am more than okay with her. I'm not, but I really don't have a backup on that. So
we can always put Nathan Fillion in.
Oh God, let it go. All right, well, I think we have our cast and a little bit of shame and pity on our part. That's just patheticness. We're a little pathetic.
So for Cameron's character, we're going with yours then.
We need a consensus. Brian, you got to vote. You want Nicholas Hoult or who was yours?
Paul Dano.
Or Paul Dano.
Nicholas Hoult.
All right.
Cameron's got to be likable. Dano is not a one that you sympathize with very much.
No, you want him in jail.
Right.
He's a great creep. I mean, I think he was really good in what was that Beach Boys movie with John Cusack? I can't remember the name of it, but he was really good in that. But no, he's just not the guy. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I would call the police if I saw my son hanging out with him. All right, nostalgic moments. That's where we have little nods to the original in our movie. We decided ahead of time what they were going to be, so here's what they are. Got to have the Ferrari at some point. I think Brian picked out a great way where that Ferrari can be worked in. Got to hijack a parade. Hopefully sing Dankeschön on that parade at some point, just as a nod to the original. And the parade can end up on the concert stage, so it all kind of blends together. Like the parade leads to the concert. I like that. There's got to be a race. So at some point, we got to have a race to avoid being caught.
Absolutely.
Yep. I would say you do that like toward the parade end or something along those lines, maybe.
But he ends up getting caught anyway.
Yeah, but he does end up getting caught. Matthew Broderick somewhere has to be in there, which obviously he's going to be the dad, so that worked out. And the last one is one that I jammed in here without telling anybody. The school needs to be named John Hughes High in the film as an homage to Mr. Hughes.
I love that. Yep.
Cool.
There we go. I think we got it. But we've got one more clip because it's very important that everybody remembers this. So here's the final clip of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yep. I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Oh, God, who doesn't love that song? I guess my final question would be is, do you have that song in there at some point? Is it required?
Is it required or should we have it in there? Those are two different questions. I would say required, no, but we can still put it in there.
I think it's got to be in there.
I think it's got to be in there.
Yeah, it's got to be in there.
Okay.
It's such a
I mean, I
staple of that.
like the song.
And I also, here's my question. In the original, I've got a bunch of questions, and I just keep saying it. Here's my question. In the original movie, at the very, very, I mean, I don't know if you ever watched it all the way through the credits.
Yeah.
So you know
all the way through the credits?
All the way through the credits.
No.
Okay. Well, there's a nod from Ferris Bueller comes out, and it's like one of the most famous after the credit scenes ever.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
So
he turns around and basically says, you're still here, movie's over, go home. And I think you got to have that at the end of this. I just don't know, do you have our Taron Egerton do it, or do you have the original Ferris Bueller do it?
Have them do it together.
I think you have the original Ferris, and then there's a Deadpool poster behind him. or even Ryan Reynolds just pops his head out on the other side of the hallway or something, as
that would be hilarious.
Just to make it new.
He doesn't say a word. He just shakes his head like, what are you? Go home. Just go.
Okay. But do we have Taron actually do this or not?
I mean,
I like the Deadpool idea, but that's never going to happen.
If it'll piss off a lot of the fans that were with the original, then I say no. I mean, I don't know if it would make people upset or not if they had the younger one doing it. I like that they both do it together because then it kind of gives you like...
They're together now.
They're together now, yeah. So it kind of gives you that little warmth. Or maybe they're like disputing with each other or something. Like father and son, I'm sure do.
I like it. All right.
But if you guys want it to just be...
Well, this part is open to everybody. So you fill in your own head how you would have that after credits thing to go. How's that? So that way we're not beholden
that works.
to... Yeah. Have your own dream. What's your dream? How would you do it? Email us, rematethismovie@gmail.com. All right, well, now we're going to hear the trailer from Wayne Henderson, who provides our trailers for us. You can always find Wayne at mediavoiceovers.com. He has compiled a little trailer to get you in the mood for our upcoming remake, which I'm really hoping Paramount calls us about, of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Take it away, Wayne.
Ferris Bueller is the most popular kid in school. Every girl wants to date him, and every guy wants to be him. As he closes in on the end of his senior year, he finally decides to take a break. Grabbing his closest friends, Ferris sets out to have the greatest day of ditching school in San Francisco's history, if his uptight dad doesn't bust him first. Join Taron Egerton as he grabs the baton from Matthew Broderick in Paul Feig's reimagining of the John Hughes classic. 30 years ago, one man just needed to have some fun. Next summer, his son takes it to the next level. This is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh yeah.
Good job, Wayne.
Woo!
Yup. Oh, yeah.
Always a winner.
Nailed it.
There you go.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, what do you think? Did we nail it, or do you think you have a better pitch? Email us your thoughts on this week's show, casting ideas, or your short pitch to remakethismovieright@gmail.com. It's remakethismovieright@gmail.com, and we might mention you on the next teaser episode. Remember, you got to subscribe to get them. It won't be on the website. Please review us on iTunes, thumbs up on Stitcher. Really apologize if we offended anybody with our AIDS jokes. And I want to make sure to mention Wayne Henderson.
Or the Godzilla jokes.
That didn't offend anyone. They all even Matthew Broderick understands that one. Wayne Henderson, you can find at mediavoiceovers.com. He also does a podcast for 11/22/63. Brian and myself, you can also find on The Hollywood Outsider. We do that every week. Amanda, you can find here on Remake This Movie Right.
And at American Family Insurance. Find your local agent.
That's a random weird plug. That's a weird random plug that I'll have to remove because we can't have brands in there. All right, so anything you guys want to say in closing? Do you think we got a great movie here or what?
Well, my question to you actually is...
Oh, now we got somebody else has a question.
Yeah, I just have one question. Since you said you did not want this to be remade, would you see this if it came out as a remake, or would you be upset that it was remade?
The movie we made, I would legitimately be excited to see.
Okay. That was just my question.
I truly believe that. And I'm not just saying that because it would make our show sound stupid if I said no. I don't think
Not necessarily. I mean, we came up with a great idea, but I mean, if it's still a property that you hold really dear and you don't want to see it remade, would it bother you if it were remade?
My thing is, if it's a movie that I think is perfect, so there's no reason to update it. If they were, I want respect paid to the original people, but I don't want it to be like some uncomfortable thing like the new vacation movie was, where Chevy Chase is obviously should not be in movies anymore. He should just be getting some medical assistance. Matthew Broderick is still in good shape. He's still a great actor, and I think it's been exactly the right amount of time. 30 years is the exact right amount of time. I think, because, I mean, he and Sloane could have been married for 10, 12, 14 years before they had a kid. Therefore, the kid would be at the right age. So for me, it fits perfect. It's respectful of the original premise. It's respectful of the original actor, who is Ferris Bueller to me. Like, he'll always be Ferris Bueller to me. So, yeah, that's why it works for me.
Okay.
Brian, does it change your mind at all? Do you think we made the right movie?
Oh, hell yeah. 1, it was fun. 2, this would actually work.
3, he's calling into work for the rest of the week and going out to California.
3, I've got the rest. Yeah, exactly. I've got the rest of my week planned out.
Now, if we have listeners who are in the area, then maybe this is what they're going to do.
Absolutely.
They're going to play hooky with it.
You know what? Let's all play hooky. After you're done listening to this, call in tomorrow. Call in tomorrow and say, it's because I listened to this great podcast called Remake This Movie Right. I'm not going to work today.
Send us a picture of you skipping school or work with some sort of hashtag.
That is amazing.
What's a hashtag we could do?
Remake this Ferris, right?
Remake Ferris. Remake, instead of say Ferris, remake Ferris. There you go. Hashtag remake Ferris.
There you go.
And throw it on the Twitter, throw it on the Facebook, throw it on the
Twitter,
that's
the
right.
Facebook. You sound like such a dad.
Throw it on that space tube.
Exactly.
Or
throw it on the MySpace.
Throw it on the MySpace if you can. Put it on the bulletin board, and then we'll share them in the group if you get them out there.
Leave a message on my answering machine.
Shut up.
Yeah, definitely. If you're gonna play hooky and you do something fun, or even if you're not playing hooky but you listen to this episode and you decided to play hooky and you're not doing anything cool, do something cool.
Hashtag remake Ferris.
Remake.
There you
Ferris.
go. Let's get it trending, people. Trend.
That's it. Yeah.
Hashtag AIDS.
No.
God.
Oh, God. So uncomfortable.
You can dress her up, but you cannot take her out.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Remake This Movie Right. Thanks, Amanda, for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
Thanks, Brian, for being here, as always.
Dream team, baby.
Whoop, whoop. And remember, guys, remakes happen pretty fast. If you don't stop and watch the originals once in a while, you could miss them. Take care. Shut up. That works.
It does work. I said, ooh.
Wait, you're still here? The podcast is over. Go home.